Hello, friends, and welcome to our final part of our journey to build a chat app with Socket.io and jQuery. And we are going to deploy the app today. And when we deploy the app, we are going to get our new merit badge. And our new merit badge is this Heroku merit badge. This is displaying differently. That's all right, though. So, maybe it was this. Maybe it was that. I don't know. Anyway, with our Heroku merit, I made my the merit badge clickable because step one, add a start script to our package JSON. So when we deploy this, it's going to try to run our server. Well, how do we run our server? We go like this, nodemon into blah, blah, blah. That's what we do. I'm going to stop it now. Heroku isn't going to start it that way. What it's going to do is it's going to look, do I have it open? It's going to look in our package JSON, and it wants a script, and here I added it already. It wants a start script. So yours, we didn't have this. It looked like this, but oh my goodness, Control Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, there it is. So this is a start script. It just says start and then this. By the way, this format right here is JSON. This is called package.json. It's just a text file. This is just a big string. But don't forget to put these right here. It's a start script. In JSON, the keys and the values have to be put in double quotes. Single quotes will not do. Okay, so here is how, when we get it up to the server, here's what the server is going to do. Start npm. I could do that now that I put a start script in there. Oh, I'm backwards. npm start. And if you don't work this time, I'm starting over. And boom, it's running. It doesn't look like it's running because we're used to seeing all this, but that was when we started it with nodemon. We started it with, so it's running. So Control C. Is it running? I don't know. That was our first step. Second step, create a Heroku account at www.heroku.com. So Heroku, by the way, they're just hosting our back end. So it's the trick to deploying a back end, well, there is a trick to deploying a back end. Front ends, I wasn't planning on deploying the front end. And if you're wondering, how does that happen? We have what's called a decoupled app, where the front end and the back end don't need to exist in the same file server. When I deploy my front ends, I just put them on HostGator. HostGator it's pretty cheap. They give you space. And then here, I'll just show you my HostGator, all my front end stuff on HostGator. I think here, right here, me. This is a work in progress. I'm just self-conscious because you know I have no UX skills. I don't know what looks good. Coding with passion. I was gonna put like learn forever, code with passion, or something like that. Mike's portfolio. This is my Simpson looking portfolio. And here is a, this is a socket. Come on, it's supposed to work. Oh, it's thinking. This is a chat app / game that I made. So I'm trying to explain what a decoupled app is. So this part, entering the game room, but I'm probably going to be the only one there. And I have to wake up the server. The server actually goes to sleep. Sometimes, oh good, I woke up. I hit it again. Sorry, that name is already in use. John. Okay. So now Mike and John are in here. I did put this as me twice. So clearly I have. If I want to start a game, I start as white. Anyway, what you're seeing here is just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. and it's talking to the backend, which is deployed on a completely different platform. It's deployed on a Heroku. So you know how we made two repositories in GitHub? I had my front end and my back end Atom editors opening. It's the exact same. The front end I deployed in one place. The back end I deploy somewhere else. It's not a trick deploying the front end, but I wasn't planning on showing you that. What I was planning on showing you was how to deploy the back end. It's trickier, and there's a lot that could go wrong, but Heroku has made it pretty easy. So I already have an account. Log in. In fact, I think I'm already logged in. Log in. I guess not, because it's giving me the option. I have the slowest internet connection in the world. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you log in is you're going to want to download the Heroku tool belt. I just tried to redo it just before I started this video, just so I would be up on how it's done. And I don't see it. There's also a dashboard, but I don't see it. But that's because I think I've already downloaded it. But what the tool belt lets you do is run Heroku up here in the cloud pretty much from your command line. You know, we've been doing everything with the command line. It's the same thing. So once you do download that, and you see I made this chatvatars server already. It works. I have it deployed. However, I wanted to do it right in front of you, and now I've taken this name and I've used this name. So gosh darn it, I have to deploy it again. I wonder if it's going to let me. Let me get rid of this. So go here, create an account. I want to get ahead of myself over here. Oh, right here. Create a Heroku account at www.heroku.com. Okay, been there. Download the the tool belt. Like I said, that's what lets you use the command line. Okay, and then log in to the account that you just created using the command line. So I'm going to switch to the command line. So here in chatvatars server, make sure you're in the file you want to do, because you're going to treat Heroku just like you treat Git. And you think, well, how can I push it to Heroku? I'm already pushing it to Git. Well, you just the command we've been doing to push to master so far is git push origin master, and origin is the name of our repository in GitHub, and that's just kind of their standard way of doing it. We're going to just do the same thing with git push Heroku master, and it's just going to push it somewhere else. And when we do that, that's when all the magic happens on Heroku side. Although we have to have all of our ducks in a row. The first duck to get in a row, by the way, was making that start script. That's usually the last thing I do. But after trying to get this deployed just earlier, it wasn't working, and that was the thing that made it not work. Okay, so Heroku login. I might already be logged in because, okay, enter your credentials. So you see this is one of my email addresses. And actually, the email address I like to use, by the way, in case you want to email me, is mikedowd300@gmail.com. So, looks like I logged in. Logged in as, okay, I am logged in. It doesn't like change the, whatever this thing's called, but I know that I'm logged in. Okay, now what's our next step? Log in to the account using the command line. Check. Create a repo with the Heroku create file name. Can I just copy it from here? That'd be cool. So you say Heroku create, and then you give it a file. If you just do this, it will create you, basically it's going to be the URL, among other things, for your application. But if you don't, it's just going to make up something, and it has some sort of name generator, like humpback forest or something that doesn't make sense. has these adjectives and nouns that it just puts together, and then it throws a number on it. But if you give it a name, chat vatar, let's put a vatar. I just made one called chat vatar server. So it will not, if I pick a name that someone else made, it won't give me that one. And they say it'll give you, it'll change it and it'll give you something close to it. Let's see what it does. I'll put chat vatar server again. Creating chat vatar server, and it looks chat vatar -server. That's exactly what I asked for. .herokuapp.com. Well, I know, because so you see this is a URL. That's a big deal. That's the URL. All right. By the way, I'm just going to mention this right now because it's on my mind. There's HTTP protocol and HTTPS protocol. Sometimes you can get away if you're having problems of just getting rid of the S. Sometimes. I'm just going to say that now because later when you're doing it, you might have problems. Okay, so what's our next step? Change the URL address in the front end. Okay, dang it. So you know how in the front end, do I have that open over here? Is this my front end? It's so not my front end. Then I'm just going to hit A. Open it up. We have been saying chat vatars. I just think that is not what I'm looking for. Read me. I'm going to get rid of that. No, I'm not. Just not. Well, I'm going to close it anyway. Okay. So we have been, okay, well here I already put it. We had let server URL equal, remember this is where we had localhost 127-0-0-1 /4300 for the port. Well, that was saying look at this port at this address, and that address happened to be on the same machine I was typing from. Well, now the address is up in the cloud. So if you're thinking, do we still need a port? Yes, we do. And I think that's step number 7. Change the port in the server. We do need a port, but don't change it. Come on, make it look stupid. But don't put anything right here. Just leave that. You're good. Okay. So steps, we got to change it in the server. Index.js. So right here, here's what we had. Listen to 4300. Well, we don't know what port we're listening on. This is some environmental variable on it's on Heroku, and it's going to be called port. It might not even exist. So here's what's kind of common. Because when you're testing this, sometimes you want to run it on Heroku, but sometimes you just want to run it locally when you're working on it. So this says, hey, try listening here. And if the thing says that's an error, what it'll do is say, you said, or just listen here. So it doesn't know what address it's at. This doesn't know if it's running sitting on my computer or up on in the Heroku cloud. But it does know if this makes sense. Heroku will tell it that it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, then it'll default to this port. That way we can use the same code to run it locally or in production. Okay, that's step 7. Step 8, set Heroku as a remote. Okay, so we did this earlier with Git. So if you remember, it is Ooh, I even said this. Get remote add or get add remote. Do I have this up here? Did I do this on this thing? The reason I want to do it here is this. They give us an SSH key. This thing right here. This is. I'm going to hit Command C to copy that. We're going to set this as our remote. So they gave us two things. They gave us the URL of our application. Beautiful. And it gives us this well, this is an HTTP key to set as a remote for when we set our get. But like I told you before earlier, I always get, I know where I have it. npm start. I did this earlier. Two. All those. Heroku login. There's my credentials. Heroku create the server. Chatvatars -server. Maybe this time I just did chatvatar. Room. Get remote add Heroku. Okay, I already have. Get remote add Heroku. Okay. I just happen to have that open from earlier. Usually I close all those things. Get remote add Heroku. That means I'm adding a remote, and that the name of the remote is Heroku, and here's where it's at, Command V. That's so not what it's supposed to say. Command C. Command V. Okay. Enter. Remote already exists. Okay. Did that happen when I just created that? I think that might have happened when I created it right there. I'm not too worried. Okay. It's there. What's the next step? Add and commit the URL and port changes. Oh, this is funny. This happened to me before, and it happened to me again. So I just changed the port on this, okay? That was the last thing I did. Well, if that's this is just I need to commit that change before. If I push to Heroku now, that change isn't up there. So man, get add dot, get commit -m. My message is changed port. And watch this. Get push origin master. That's me telling GitHub. Because remember, for the server, I did finally make a GitHub repo. Git push origin master. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And now git push Heroku master. And when I push this to master, well, we'll do it. It is building this. So if this, build successful. I thought there's going to be this moment of, will it work? Will it not work? Okay. Maybe there's some, you run into problems. This build succeeded. It'll be red and it'll have a bunch of errors. But you might not know what the error is, and there's a way to just look at the Heroku logs. Heroku logs. Usually I just look at the Heroku logs if I have an error. Can I do it when I have success? Or is it just going to return it? Okay, here we go. Build succeeded. If something happened, let's say you just had bad code. Let's say just like your server crashes, it'll let you know. I mean, it won't do it, but if you go to Heroku logs, you can, you have all these nice green things, but there'll be something red saying, here's where you done messed up. But we didn't have that happen today. I'm so happy. Also, this is Chatvatar server. Is that what it is called? Just want to double check that. What did a chatvatars dash server. Okay. All right, chatvatar dash server. Okay, that's why I didn't have that messed up. So I was kind of wondering if this would be smart enough because I made something called chatvatar and I made something called chatvatars dash server. But one I did on screen, one off screen. Okay. Anywho, we're on to the next step. Add and commit the URL and push to Heroku. Done it. Check out Heroku logs. We did that. Test it out. So to test it out, we're just going to run the front end. Remember, the front end, I know this is open somewhere. The front end is still running from this computer, but it needs, when it's talking to the socket server, it's now talking to here. So we need to test the front end locally here to see if this happens, if the connection makes, and the way we'll know instantly. If the pictures don't load, the avatars, we'll know that something's wrong. And I'm just going to run this with light server. They're there. They're there. We are talking to a real back end. Command Option I to see if we have any messages. Nothing. This is, if you're thinking, no, localhost 3000. Don't forget, light server is the server we're using to deploy our front end locally. But our front end talks to Heroku now. It doesn't talk to that 127-0-0-1. It's talking to Heroku. And it was that easy. When I did this off screen to practice it, I hadn't done it in a while, and I thought, oh man, I got to brush up on this. It was just as easy. So I don't even have to do bug fixes. Some of you might be disappointed that I didn't do a front end deploy. And if I get enough interest, I will do an episode 16. I'm finally going to deploy this whole series tonight, so I guess I'd be really impressed if someone mentioned me tonight that they wanted to see an episode 16. But if I get enough feedback that you don't know how to deploy a front end or you can't deploy your front end to talk to that back end, then I'll just show you how I do it with HostGator, but it was really easy to do. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I'm going to miss you guys. Bye.